They tried to shut him out, but instead, he lit the entire league on fire. February 12th, 1985. Just 2 days after the All-Star weekend, a rookie named Michael Jordan walked into the Chicago Stadium with something to prove. The story had already spread. Veterans at the All-Star game didn't want to give him the ball. They thought the hype was too much. The commercials, the dunks, the $1 million shoe deal. To them, this rookie didn't deserve the spotlight. And the man most connected to the freeze-out? Isiah Thomas, the sharpest floor general in the NBA at that time. Isiah had entered the league 4 years earlier and was already carving out his reputation as one of the best point guards in history. He had the numbers to back it up, averaging more than 21 points with an unreal 14 assists per game. At a time when Magic Johnson himself was dazzling fans, some said Isiah had actually surpassed him as a complete floor general. His Pistons were on the rise, with tough players like Bill Laimbeer and Kelly Tripucka supporting him. But one thing bothered Isiah. Everyone's attention was shifting toward a rookie from North Carolina. He was supposed to be the one in the spotlight, the one destined for greatness. So when the All-Star game came around, he made sure that the rookie would feel out of place. The plan: keep the ball out of Jordan's hands. But anyone who knows Michael Jordan knows exactly how he reacts to disrespect. He took it personally. And 2 nights later, he got the chance to respond, face to face with Isiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. The Bulls were struggling, barely clinging to a 500 record. The Pistons, meanwhile, were rolling with a record well above 500 and the look of a team ready to challenge the East's elite. On paper, this wasn't supposed to be a fair fight. Chicago had little beyond Jordan and Orlando Woolridge, with Quinton Daly coming off the bench. Detroit had depth, experience, and chemistry. But none of that mattered when Jordan touched the ball. The greeting between Isiah and Michael before tip-off looked more like cold formality than respect. You could see it in their body language. There was no love lost. And from the very first possession, Jordan let everyone know exactly what was coming. He grabbed the ball, went coast to coast, and attacked the rim like a man possessed. His energy was unmatched, his determination obvious. The so-called freeze-out only fueled him more. Every time he caught the ball, he drove hard, finishing with finesse and power. He wasn't just scoring, he was sending a message. On defense, he refused to give Isiah an inch. Jordan was locked in on the passing lanes, swiping steals and converting them into easy buckets. At one point, he picked Thomas clean and hammered down a dunk, pausing just long enough to let the crowd erupt. The matchup had turned personal and everyone in the arena felt it. But it wasn't just defense. Jordan showed flashes of the complete player he would become. He drained turnaround jumpers, pulled off crossovers that left defenders stunned, and found teammates like Woolridge for highlight reel finishes. His game wasn't polished yet, but the raw talent was undeniable. By halftime, Jordan had already dominated enough to give the Bulls a 6-point lead. And yet, he looked like he was just getting started. The second half was even more relentless. Every time Jordan locked eyes with Isiah, it was like a spark ignited. Whether double-teamed or not, he found ways to score. Double-clutch layups off the glass, impossible finishes through contact. Rebounds turned into coast-to-coast runs. He did everything. His ability to grab defensive boards and push the pace was revolutionary for a guard, something that would later define his greatness. And then there was the moment that showed what this game really meant. With just seconds left in regulation, the Pistons had the ball, tied with the Bulls, and Isiah had the chance to be the hero. But as he drove toward the rim, Jordan was there. He stripped the ball clean, snatching it like a trophy. That play wasn't just about forcing overtime, it was about payback. Isiah had tried to shut him out days earlier, and now Jordan had shut him down with the game on the line. In overtime, Jordan smelled blood. He fought under the glass for rebounds, turned second chances into points, and made the right reads when the Pistons threw multiple defenders his way. He dished assists when needed, but more often, he just kept scoring. Even when Detroit tried to rough him up with hard fouls, Jordan barely flinched. He finished through contact, knocked down the free throws, and kept piling on the points. By the time the final buzzer sounded, Chicago had the win. The packed stadium roared as Jordan walked off with 49 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals, shooting over 60% from the field. It wasn't just a great rookie performance, it was a statement. Michael Jordan wasn't going to be silenced, not by veterans, not by strategies, not by jealousy. If anything, the freeze-out had only made him more dangerous. For Isiah Thomas, this game was the beginning of a rivalry that would last for more than a decade. The Bulls and Pistons would battle fiercely through the late 80s and early 90s, with Detroit's infamous bad boys eventually standing as Jordan's biggest obstacle. But on this night in 1985, before championships and dynasties, before the Pistons' titles and the Bulls' 6 rings, the seeds of that rivalry were planted. Jordan had shown the world what happens when you try to embarrass him. He comes back twice as strong. This wasn't just a rookie fighting for respect. This was the birth of a legend who turned slights into fuel, who took every challenge personally, and who would eventually rise above them all. For fans watching that night, it was clear. Michael Jordan wasn't just another rookie. He was the future of the league. And Isiah Thomas. He had just found himself on the wrong side of history. The beauty of that game is how it foreshadowed Jordan's career. Every time someone tried to hold him back, he responded with brilliance. Whether it was the Celtics in the playoffs, the Pistons' physical defense, or later the doubters who said he could never win without a dominant big man, Jordan always found a way to rise higher. That Pistons game in '85 was the first real glimpse of that pattern. It also marked the beginning of Chicago's transformation. The Bulls weren't a powerhouse yet, but with Jordan leading the way, their identity shifted overnight. Suddenly, Chicago had someone who could go toe-to-toe with the league's best. Fans who watched that night didn't just see a rookie. They saw hope for the future. A player who could change the trajectory of an entire franchise. For Detroit, it was a warning. They would have their moment in the sun with back-to-back championships, but even then, Jordan loomed like a shadow. Every success the Pistons had felt temporary because the young star in Chicago was growing stronger every year. Looking back, the seeds of the eventual Bulls dynasty were planted the night Jordan dropped 49 on Isiah's Pistons. What made it even more legendary was how personal it felt. This wasn't just basketball. It was pride, ego, and respect, all clashing on the same court. That edge is what turned the Bulls-Pistons matchups into one of the most iconic rivalries in NBA history. Without that fire, without that grudge, maybe Jordan wouldn't have developed the same relentless drive. In a strange way, the freeze-out made him even more unstoppable. And decades later, when fans look back at Jordan's career, that rookie game against Detroit stands as a reminder: greatness doesn't wait. Even when veterans tried to hold him back, even when the odds weren't in his favor, Michael Jordan proved he was different. He wasn't just part of the NBA. He was about to redefine it. The impact of that night also stretched beyond the box score. For young players watching around the league, it was proof that respect isn't handed out, it's taken. Jordan didn't whine about being iced out. He didn't complain to the media. He let his game do the talking. That mentality became the gold standard for competitiveness in the NBA. If you wanted respect, you had to earn it every single night. And while the Pistons and Bulls would exchange blows for years, fans never forgot where it all started. February 1985 wasn't just a game. It was the night Michael Jordan transformed from promising rookie into the most dangerous competitor basketball had ever seen. From then on, it wasn't about whether he belonged. The question became who could possibly stop him. And as history shows, the answer was no one.